Ladies and gentlemen, good morning. It is exactly 10 a.m. in Los Angeles. It is October 5th, and today is the day we're going to launch Colourlab AI 2.2 update. So it is not actually a trivial update. It is a major upgrade to our Automatch engine, and I am so happy to have you here and to share with you the news. You know the drill. Please go ahead and say hi in the chat. Say where you're from. It's always good to see you. I love our colorist community. Tony is here. Hey, Tony is from Amsterdam and Jens from Berlin. Hello, guys. Hello. And Zach is here. Hey. We have a Steve Franco from Dallas. Very good, guys. And someone from Puerto Rico as well. Guys, I hope you're doing well after the storm. I think everything's all right in Puerto Rico. And we have someone from Sweden, and Gary is here. Hey, Gary. Good to see you. Hey, Tim. Hey, and Gary, our CTO, is with us. You know, I was bothering you until late last night doing some fixes. Thank you, Gary, for all the hard work. You know, it seems that every release, has to be a little bit last minute. So yeah, I really wanted to, take you a little bit through Colourlab AI 2.2. But before I start that, I really just wanted to share with you some thoughts. I believe it's really important for us every now and then to maybe sit back and reflect and maybe see a bigger picture of what we do and what we are supposed to do as well somehow. And I really wanted to talk to you a little bit about some thoughts I had recently in regards to technology. I mean, our lives are very, intertwined with technology. I mean, I believe that each one of you here on this stream loves technology and is, depending on technology, especially if you decided that you're going to make filmmaking, post-production, editing, color grading, whatever you chose to do in life as your profession. And you are depending on technology because this technology is really what enables you to do your job. And technology is not static. It's changing. It's constantly evolving. I mean, I believe that none of you here could say, hey, I'm working as a tape operator or I'm working as a negative cutter. These jobs have gone and disappeared as technology has evolved. So it's always important for us to keep an eye on technology and understand not just what technology can do today, but what's going to be able to do in a few years' time. And there are lots of options. There's lots of things happening. It's a very interesting area, right? The technology is constantly evolving. And so, for example, we have at the moment a lot talking about like a metaverse or VR, right? And I have to tell you, I looked into it again just because I'm curious, and I put the latest model of VR headset, and it doesn't look that much different than last time I did that a few years ago. It's still very like heavy, clunky, makes me a little dizzy, sweaty after 20 minutes. So I was like, you know what? VR is not ready. It's still a long way to go before I can see this being adopted massively, and there's going to be development and jobs happening in there. Then we have a second technology, for example, like cloud, and I love cloud. I think cloud is so important, and it's going to change the way how we work. But personally, I have a limitation that for the last 2 years, I wasn't able to get any faster internet connection in Los Angeles. This has nothing to do with me not being able to afford one, but just simply the providers in this area don't have lines that can give me faster internet. And without it, I can't really take advantage of cloud because the moment I start working on projects that need terabytes of storage, it just doesn't work. So I have to go travel to some place that has a good fiber connection, but it almost defies the purpose of cloud. So I think cloud is definitely staying here and it's not going, and we're going to depend on it. But before we completely start working in a cloud, it's going to take some time. And it doesn't depend from people who develop actual cloud products, but primarily from governments who are going to allow us to have faster and better internet connection. And then we have AI. And it is amazing what's happening with AI at the moment. Not sure if you follow the news, and by the way, if you've seen that there is this new network called DALI that just went public, and you can just sign up and start making your AI art, however you want to call it. It's unbelievable. Or something called Stable Diffusion that's open sourced. that you can actually, develop your own things on top of it. Or Google just recently showed us an amazing AI network that allows us to do fly-throughs. And I'm just looking, and the week doesn't pass without us not getting some amazing news and new white papers. And it seems that right now there is nothing that is developing faster and that has absolutely no limitation but the human imagination, seems like it, to what AI is doing. And I'm actually so happy, kind of looking back, that years ago I committed to AI. I said this is going to be the technology that's going to change the world, and I really believe that it's going to change our jobs. And what I'm going to show you today is going to be a really interesting example for you to see to what AI is going to do and how it's going to affect and change your jobs. And I'm so happy that you guys are here at the early stage, because early adopting has certain advantages. One day when it becomes a mainstream and everybody's going to be working with AI, you're going to have much more experience than someone else, and you will know much better how things work, what they need to do, and you will really have that advantage of having an extended experience in this area. And it's happening incredibly fast. I actually can't believe, even though this is, like, as I said, 2.2 update, to how much better our engine has become. Now, I also wanted to show you this little thing. So this is my little piggy bank, saving piggy bank. I'm a tech freak, so I could spend all my money just on gadgets, headphones, cameras, lenses, cables, adapters, you name it, right? So I kind of limit my spending so that I create a virtual piggy bank, and then I put like a little bit money when I have, and then I kind of save money for things that I want. And what I want is the new Sony FX30. Wow, I really feel that this is going to be a camera that is going to change cinematography. It's going to be, what Canon 5D did like years ago, and then what, Blackmagic Pocket camera did, or like, whatever it's called, the cinema camera, whatever they call it now. I have one, but I think that what Sony did with FX30 is exactly the next step. And I believe on that price point and the quality, and it's Sony, guys, it's Sony, the autofocus is something else on Sony cameras, and just the image quality and the quality of build, everything. I think it's just going to be the next thing that is going to affect filmmaking immensely. So I am with Sony, and I'm saving for one. So also I wanted to wish happy birthday to my son, Maxi. I'm sorry, I had to get a little bit personal. My Maxi is now 15. And, I really wish him that, by the age 16, he becomes an accomplished colorist. And I actually think he can do this, primarily because I don't want him to be just a consumer, to sit and watch YouTube videos, but actually to start making them. And actually he can start grading now because it's so simpler using Colourlab. But there is one catch. My Maxi is not really excited about my slick looking MacBook Pros and all the beautiful Mac hardware I have and love. He's into building custom PCs with like, liquid cooling, and then LED lights and GPUs, and then we have to upgrade the GPU and all of that stuff. He loves that. That's his thing. So I really have a more, like I was say, personal reason now even to say, hey, when is Windows coming? So for all of you who kind of share the same sentiment, we decided to make a t-shirt, and I'm going to actually publish a link for you later on if you want, and it's called I Want My Colourlab for Windows t-shirt. So, it's just going to make hopefully waiting a little bit better. And yes, it's happening, guys. It's happening. Gary is on the case. We are working. We have, just expanded our development team, and we have 2 superstars that are actually right now, posting stuff on GitHub. And it's not a trivial task. You have to understand that, building a completely new, AI application I don't have to explain it to you. You probably understand. In any case, we are committed. We are going to do this, and it's all happening. So yes, if you're interested in getting one of these t-shirts, I'll post a link later on so you guys can go and get one. All right, so every release we try to also commit to or dedicate to a person. And I want to dedicate 2.2 to David Bowie. And the reason actually why I want to dedicate it to David Bowie is because I went to cinema. There is an amazing movie that I actually recommend you to go and see if you are in an area where this movie is showing. It's a documentary about David Bowie. It's an absolutely beautiful piece. Nothing kind of what you normally see in documentary style and on kind of Netflix and stuff. It's really something different, visually beautifully done. Tyler Roth graded it. And there was one line in that movie where David Bowie said, "The art doesn't really exist. It's a product of our imagination." And I kind of thought like, this is really what colorists do. I really thought like, we take an image, an ungraded image, and what we really are creating is only product of our imagination. We have in our mind an image, a vision of what that picture should look like once it's graded. And it's our imagination really that turns that image into something else. So when we grade, we don't really grade, following a certain formula. It's really our imagination really that's driving it. So the tool is just a kind of, that medium that sits between our imagination and actually physical property of an image. So, the easier and the more intuitive we make that process of translation of our vision into something, palatable, something that we can see and share with everyone else is really the process. So I really thought like, this is very, very similar to what we do. And actually, I kind of, couldn't agree more. Absolutely fascinating docu. As I said, again, I highly recommend guys go and have a look and watch it. So let's see what we got. A little bit on the chat before I start. Okay, I can see. Yes, we don't support Sony Raw, but we are going to support it. We are guys. Have a lot of other things that are going on, and I have to be honest with you. There is a very small amount of you guys who really need a Sony Raw. And in comparison to many other things that we are working on, but we are going to do it. It's just a problem that it's very difficult for us with some licensing things that to really come to an agreement to get this codecs to work. And I can see that MTO has joined the stream, so good to see you, Mark. All right, so let me explain to you now what is new in Colourlab AI 2.2. So first, we have a new autocolor. So this is that kind of autocolor tab. It's new. It's been rewritten. It has a brand new way of how it's doing the analysis of an image and how it's creating the autocolor. And I'm not going to, in this particular stream, do any comparisons between, how other systems do auto balance and color and how we do it. I'm going to do separate videos for that, but I can definitely tell you that this is the world's best auto kind of balancing tool that you can find. Then we have a new AI mode. I'm going to show you where this is. It's called AI Select. It's going to allow you to get quicker to better results. So I'll explain how it works. Then we have something really interesting. Now, I think for that, I had to go to Burning Man with Josh Pines to really come up with this. And it's called Log Generic IDT. I'll explain you a little bit what it is and how it works in a minute now when I start showing. Then I have some new SmartLUTs and we have a new ShowLUTs. Then we have a brand new workflow, by the way, we're going to show you, which is how now you can start your edit in Premiere. Then you can go into Colourlab Ai, and then you can go from Colourlab Ai into Davinci, and you can keep all of your color metadata. It's absolutely amazing. It's like a magic. I can't tell you, how beautiful this is. And then we have a brand new training course. It's a masterclass for the first time. We're going to create a masterclass, a 2-week training program for Colourlab, and it's going to be absolutely free for you if you have a Colourlab license. And if you don't, if you're still sitting and thinking, should I not? We'll have a special deal for you that you can get a license and do the training. And then we're also launching an initiative for educational institutions, for universities and film schools. I'll explain more about it. And basically, we have some updates for our enterprise clients. Okay, so let's go and basically take this to the next step. Let me show you what and how is this new update working. So it is going to become available shortly. Like Marcello is probably updating it now as we speak. So I'm gonna go just and just basically maybe start with our demo project. So I'm gonna go here into help menu, and I'm just gonna go and say open demo project. And basically let me show you what it is. So first of all, the changes are very minimal at the front end. But the way how you find it, what's going to be happening is here. So if you go to your Smart Match tab now, okay, here, what you're going to see now is that there is now a new thing which is called auto exposure controls. Now, you remember we have auto exposure, the little kind of tool. Now it's automatic, it's running all the time, and it's automatically finding faces and recognizing what's in the shot and adjusting auto exposure for you. And if you want to continue using printer lights for auto exposure, you can do so, but I recommend to start without it, and then you'll see, how things are going to process from there. And then very important, what you want to do is you want to make sure that here, what is your default Smart Match setting, you want to click on it and you want to select this one on the top, which is called AI selection. This is the new model. And this is pretty much it. As long as you switch these two on, right? As long as you switch these two on, you're going to have the new engine set up and running. So let me show you what it does. So basically I can just go and say, okay, do the auto match. And you see now how it perfectly balances the shot. You remember we used to have a problem there that sometimes would be overexposed, and you still might get it every now and then. System might kind of judge the content slightly wrongly, but it's going to be so much improved. And also what we're doing is we are respecting more the original color of a shot. We're not trying to impose our own grade on it. We are really respecting the color. So you see, if I now come here, perfect. You see how it beautifully decides and tells, hey, this is what the balance should be. And you can now just go through it. Now, for example, you can say, well, you know what, this one's just a little too dark. Now, all you have to do is just click on the auto exposure here, right? And you can say, well, give me half a stop up. And boom, straight away. So it's so easy. So basically you can also, like, if you like, position yourself with the Lachman zones, so exactly what's happening, and you can see because it is working, using the zonal system, and then you can just go and do things. Now, it might be a situation like now, things like, oh, that's a little too milky. No problem. You can still go and select and say, no, this is, by the way, where I'm focusing. And then you see it gets you the right exposure for that part. This image is way too dark. What's going to do here? Boom, perfect. Look, this one, what's going to do here? Perfect. It just really, really basically is so much smarter in understanding what's happening. And you can just go and say, well, give me a little bit more. I don't want it -1. Maybe I want this to be half. And it's so quick now. You can just quickly just take shots and balance them incredibly quickly. Now, like, every now and then, it's going to try to do things for you, thinking, okay, this is probably what you want. And you can just say, no, listen, I actually want this part here to be only a stop lower so that I still have the sky in, but I want the face to be the focus. All right. So this is now like, I just did quickly the balance. Okay. Now what I want to do is I want to go and apply some show look to it. Now I want to show you, I have several new categories. So these are the new categories. One's called docu. And I just have a lot of docu kind of people, who are working with us, who are basically, looking for, just, looks that are not overwhelming, that are not too crazy, just something that you can just do for documentaries. Maybe something like this. Let's say, I'm just going to say now, copy. Now, right mouse click and say paste show look to all shots, and bang, what we did now is we just got everything nicely graded, because when you balance things and because we were color managed, the show look just, fits in like a glove. Everything basically works just perfectly, and I'm done. I have done. I, as far as I'm concerned, this is a first pass that I had to create that I'm now happy to, start moving. Okay, now we can go and load it into Davinci. Now we can start editing. I don't care, but I've just taken a bunch of footage that's been all over the place, and I've just, in a very short amount of time, I balanced it. Now, it might be that you want to finesse it to win an award, might be, or might be that you think like, well, all I need now is just basically this to look really decent and good. I don't want to win an award. I just want to get it done quickly and out and still be able to deliver my clients the best possible image quality that I can. And that's exactly, what you can do now. Now, you can also take it a step further. I want to show you now how the new matching works, the new engine. So what you do is if you go into your AI references and you can go into SmartLUTs, we loaded some more SmartLUTs. Okay, and the way how these SmartLUTs work is that you just basically select one. Now, by the way, you can also use your own images that you can bring in from ShotTech or something like that. And now it's going to try to guess for you, hey, which is the best match, or how things are going to work. So I'm going to say it probably the finals, but I want my exposure to be a little higher, maybe a +1. So now you see I got like basically a decent looking image, for example, right? Or I could come here, to this shot and say, well, you know what, give me like something that's like a little bit more greener. And you now go beyond just, the standard, the workflow where you're just balancing. You can actually go and affect your image, just by using other sources. And, you can say, oh my God, this is great. Okay, now let me use this as a reference and then match these two shots because I want this to be my reference. I want these two shots to match because they feel like they are the same sequence, right? So I got that, right? Or I could go and say, well, give me some more SmartLUTs here, and, why don't I try to do something like maybe like this, right? And then I can just go and say, is this the shot that I want? I don't know. You can just try things out. It doesn't hurt. You just basically press, auto match button. So basically what the new model really does for you, it takes and analyzes all the models that you have, and it guesses which is the one that potentially is going to be the one for you. Might be guessing correctly or not. However, what's very important for you to understand is this. This is our first step on the way of building an engine that's going to work the way you want it to do. So we are 2 steps away from giving you ability to build your own color grading model. This is our ultimate goal. We want you to be able to train Colourlab AI to do matching the way you think it's right, not what system is doing. So right now, we are 2 steps away. So first, we have a model that is basically behaving and analyzing material in that way. Then we're going to start introducing virtual models that you're going to be able to use that could be developed by other colorists. And then we're going to give you a way that you can actually build your own model, train your own model that is going to match things in particular fashion that you think it's absolutely correct. And now I can go and use this shot and match it to the other ones. Now, basically, really what is happening here is that we just got much better in guessing, how things should look and what you're probably trying to do. And that is kind of, a really, really, really a kind of, a great advantage for you guys to start really, working with it and start getting better results quicker. Okay. Let me just quickly see what's happening on the chat. Secondaries. Secondaries will come, but not so quickly, We really want to get this whole matching working, perfectly. And when the secondaries come, it won't be like do anything that you guys know. The secondaries we have at the moment, they're basically, how they say, they build from a perspective of an old school person that has to like rotoscope, color, select. This is going to be a completely different way how secondary is going to work. The AI models will be able to really pick these things better. So watch this space. You'll see how beautiful it's going to be. I also wanted to show you this example. These are like shots I downloaded from Red website. It's kind of their test shots, what they did. And as you can tell, they're just all over the place. Like everything's different. Everything's shot at different location. And you just kind of want to balance them a little bit, right? You want to just say, hey, how can I do this? And look, with what precision we're now able to do this. Look at this. I'm just able to go through this and say, no, be a little darker. By the way, we can go very dark now. We kind of went even as 4 stops down. you know, and we can just perfectly just go and balance this, get rid of this yellow tint here, match the skin and so on. You got the drill. It just works like incredibly. And very important thing you have to understand, our AI models are not, you know, trained only on white skin. We do spend a lot of time making sure that it works with different skin tones, different hues of skin, different types of skin. So we really like, you know, are building a model for, you know, 20th century, right? We're not making the same mistakes that Kodak used to do back then. So, you know, it's just amazing, you know, like look at this, how it works. Now, also, like I want to show you, like this is a great example. Like, for example, like, you know, how you can work now. Let's say this is just me neutralizing the shot. Boom, one click. Look, one click, and it just perfectly neutralized it. Now I can say, okay, give me, I want to see and give it, you know, some skin tones. Like I want to give it something, you know, that I feel maybe, you know, would look a little bit better. And now with the new AI select, right, it's just going to do much better job. And it's going to say, oh, maybe this shot, right? Or how about, no, maybe I'm going to do this. I suggest that if you're changing color a lot, you reset always, you know, first, and there you go. So like, or say, for example, no, maybe let me give me this one, right? And then you can basically just go and grab from some of your references, from some of the images that you have found and selected, and you can go and build looks like that. And it works incredibly, incredibly well. As you can tell, it works better, but nowhere near to where we want to be. This is just an idea, just an example to how quickly this is developing and where we're going to end up. Okay? Okay. All right. So now I want to show you something else. Let me go and see what is coming here. And this is the new workflow. Okay, yes. So this is what we're doing now. We can basically start in Premiere, then we can do apply little, you know, one light, balance it, do edit, and then we want to finish in Davinci Resolve. But what we want to do is we want to conserve or preserve all of that color only as a metadata. We don't want to have to bake in, we don't want to render, we want to work remotely, we want to just, you know, rely on color metadata. We call it color virtualization, where color is not really real physical, it's just a metadata. It's like just a virtual object, okay? So let me show you how that is going to work. So I'm just going to go quickly say new. All right, let me open now my Premiere. So let's go and do that. So let's go. Premiere is actually getting a little bit faster opening projects. Well done for doing that, Adobe. All right, so I'm just gonna, I have a couple of clips here. I'm just gonna put them on a timeline. All right, now here they are, they're like just there. And then I'm gonna go into my Colourlab, and here I'm gonna say, hey, fetch from Premiere, right? And now it's gonna read the timeline and bang, bring everything here. It recognized already what camera it is. It doesn't, we don't have to go set up any color management. Everything's automatic, perfect. All right. So what I can do now is I can then just go and say, all right, let me now show you how I want to balance this a little bit. So I want to go and balance this shot, then I want to go and balance this shot. Oh, but there seems to be a lot of movement in this shot. Let me see. So yeah, I'm going to go and analyze every frame. So when you press white, it analyzes every frame, right? So here we go. It's just basically you go and apply like a little neutral grade, right? To everything. Oh, this one probably has a lot of movement as well. I analyze everything. This one, okay. Okay, this is the face I want, by the way, and I want it to be a half a stop or stop down, perfect. And this one as well. So very quickly, I got to like a very nice and looking neutral grade. Okay, oops. So this one, let's go, I touched it too much. All right, let's go now, bang, perfect. All right, and then I wanna go and give it a ShowLUT. So, you know, I'm gonna just do a print profile, and I'm gonna use my, one I love at the moment is the MPF. All right, this one, copy and paste, show look to all shots. All right, now I can do is I can just go back here and I can then push the Premiere. Okay, so now what's gonna do, it's gonna go and push this whole sequence to Premiere, and bang, we have all the looks here. Now, you're gonna notice that it looks a little bit different, and the reason why it looks a little bit different is because Premiere doesn't understand that I work on a P3 display. It thinks, you know, there is no color management in Premiere. So if you really want to match things, you have to just go into Colourlab and tell Colourlab, well, you know what, my other application I'm working with thinks I'm in sRGB mode. So you just change it here into your display color management, and you just say sRGB. And when you do that, then it's going to match. Now, these shots are matching to whatever you see in Premiere. Okay, so that's basically the only reason why. I hope. Maybe one day they'll learn about color management. We'll see. All right, one thing. Then I'm going to go and maybe make an edit. So let's go. I'm going to go and just edit things, shuffle it around. It doesn't matter. I'm just going to go pretend now I have spent time editing. Still, basically, look, I'm using graded footage that just has our color metadata. I didn't do any kind of, let me just move this first shot last so that kind of we can see. I don't still have to render anything, right? I'm just using Colourlab's color metadata on these clips. They look perfectly graded. They play back in real time. I did all the editing. Everything's finished. Okay, now what I do is I go and say in Colourlab, hey, can you please now fetch this edited sequence with all the color on it, right? So what we need to do is we're going to say, okay, fetch from Premiere. Now watch what happens. Now the sequence comes through, but it comes with all the color applied to it. So we recognized everything that you had on Premiere Timeline, and we now recognize that. Now, how wonderful would be if we could now just go and say, hey, I want to finish in Resolve, because I need windows, I need tracking, I need everything, that, Resolve has got that Premiere hasn't and that Colourlab hasn't, I really want to just go. I love, finishing things in Resolve. And I get you. I also do that. So what I do now is I go back to Colourlab. My Davinci is open in the background. And then I say, push to Resolve. But hang on a moment. You're going to say, well, this project started on Premiere. Now you can. You can cross between one application and another. Now you have two options here. You can say automatic or manual. Automatic means you are starting with an empty project. We're going to do everything for you. And automatic or manual means, well, I have used my traditional XML approach that I normally do when I move from Premiere to Davinci, right? And you just basically send me the color files that you find on my timeline, so that means I need an automatic in this case. I won't save it. All right, so there we go. Now it's just going to go and basically do all its magic. The power of API, they say, right? No more. And it says, hey, I'm finished. Now check this out. I go to Davinci Resolve. Look at this. The timeline is there. Everything's there, and every color decision that you have used in Premiere is here as a node. As a node, you can now go and build your node tree, or you can even load your custom node tree in the Davinci and have your custom node tree ready, waiting for you. Now just think how much time this is going to save you. Think how easy now this is going to be. Absolutely amazing. Absolutely amazing. I am so excited, to share this news. This is actually, one of the, it was always our mission. It was always our mission to basically make our color metadata as universal as possible. It doesn't matter what application you use, we'll support it. And we are going to continue working in that direction. We really want you guys to not be limited to the tool you use. We want you to focus on the art you create, as David Bowie said. All right, so now I want to go and talk about something else that's happening. And this is very important announcement, okay? You always told us, hey, we love Colourlab, but we need more training. And I heard you. And the reason why we were not necessarily building the training or giving a training instantly was because it takes some time for us to understand which is the best way how to teach, an application, to understand the methods. And I have a lot of experience in teaching, and I've been training color for many years, but I really wanted to give you something that's just going to give you a best method of teaching that's just going to give, and that's exactly what's happened now. We have created a masterclass, a 2-week training course, right? It's live course with me doing, live calls with you, you going through videos. It's very extensive, 8 module training, 2 weeks. First week, we're going to learn every single thing about Colourlab, every button, everything that it does, what it does, how it works, what doesn't, how, about everything that there is to know. And the second week, we're going to do a lot of practical work. Hey, what to do when I do this type of work? What's happened with this workflow? How about this workflow? What's happening here? What should I do if I have this? All like basically giving you strategies, how you can benefit as a colorist, how you can work faster. Everything really, kind of that we collected all the questions that we got from our clients. Now, I have to tell you, I've been teaching Colourlab to our enterprise clients, to people who adopt our application inside their facilities and have developed this training based on that experience. I have basically seen, what people really want to do, what they're trying to do, and how they're doing it, and then have understood, what is it that I really need to teach you. Because, I really try to make it as concise as possible. We only have 2 weeks. But actually, what's really interesting is that the whole training is going to let you actually even, learn color grading if you have never graded before. And if you feel like, well, you know what, I'm kind of, no, I'm dabbling. I'm not a professional. I'm not a really amazing Hollywood colorist. But, I know how to operate color systems, but I would just love to start getting better results. Well, I think this is exactly training that's going to do that, because with Colourlab, it's very hard not to get good results. You really are going to be able to see, what happens when this color management and all the beautiful color science is embedded in the application, and you just focus on, work rather on all the technical aspects of it. So the news is that it starts next week, and it's free. If you have, of course, Colourlab license, why would you do it if you don't? So, we're going to publish the link. It's actually going to be in your emails already. If not, we'll send you the links. We'll help you do it. By the way, you can always join later and so on. You don't have to follow live if you're too busy. Everything's going to be recorded. You can rewatch it later. Now, we also wanted to make it more accessible to people and folks who don't have Colourlab but still want to learn. And there is quite a few of you guys there who are like, tried to use it and it didn't quite work. I've kind of went back to people who downloaded trials and I asked them, hey, how did it go? And some of them say, well, I didn't really understand. It didn't work for me. So for those folks, we want to bring them on. We want to make them pros. And basically, we're giving you a special offer that you get for only $199, a whole masterclass and a pro annual license. So this is basically, think about it. Masterclasses are usually $289. The pro license is $299, so this is kind of, almost like, $600, right? And you get everything for only $200. I think it's a great deal, and it's only now, like, we're just launching the training course, and we're just going to run it now, just to kind of, help you guys step on the ladder and start really, making the most out of this beautiful technology. All right? Another little announcement I have to do is something that we've been, trying to put together for a long time, and finally it's happened. And it's really our commitment to the next generations. We are, rooted in Hollywood. We are, building this for professionals who are making their living out of color grading today, but we cannot lose our sight from the future generations. And in the future, color grading is going to be much simpler, and there's going to be many people who will be able to create visual content and be able to tell stories visually and be able to color grade without being colorists, basically. So we really believe that. We believe that, that there's going to be many more productions and many more storytellers out there who want their images to look beautiful and look color graded, even if they're not colorists, and that's absolutely okay. And then there is still going to be people who will very, very narrowly focus and become some of the best colorists in the world, and they will do only that. But at the beginning, when we first start learning about color, most of us didn't even think that we wanted to be colorists. Let's be honest. If I was to ask you, what did you want to be, when you started, your career? You want to be a director, cinematographer, editor. No one even thought about color grading. And then you discover color grading and you say, okay, I'm going to specialize in this. Now, this is really for people, they don't know about it. Maybe they're going to fall in love with color, maybe not. But for them, we want to actually make this technology a little bit more accessible. And the creator version of Colourlab is going to be free for students of participating film schools and universities that we're going to be working with. So that means that if you are studying, if you're a full-time student and poor guy, you're already indebted. Your parents, spent all their life savings to pay you for your school. The last thing you want to do is spend money on some software licenses. We understand. So you're going to get the license for free. And once you finish your school, we'll give you like a very good way how you're going to upgrade the professional. So we have now opened the program. We already have, 2 or 3 major schools that we've been talking to and understanding how best to do it. And based on that, we've designed this program. You basically just go to Colourlab.ai/education, and there you're going to find application forms. You just have to fill it in. We're going to go through it, get in contact, and, allow you to basically take advantage of it. And then you can also do all the training courses with us and so on. So basically, we really want next generations to enjoy color much more than we did when we were starting. Because, if you remember how hard it was before, things, it's still actually really difficult. It takes years to learn Davinci properly, if you think about it. So it's not actually, color grading is still extremely, extremely challenging, All right. And then on top of that, we have made some changes, for our enterprise clients. The reality was that I was very focused with our enterprise clients, and I really, need to kind of, work more with all our other customers. So we have now streamlined that process a little bit. And what we do, however, is for you guys, if you decide you want to buy today Colourlab Studio, this is the package that has all the plugins and the Colourlab, right? The $499 package. If you do that, you'll get a free onboarding with us. It means a live Zoom call will come and we'll work with you and make sure that everything's set up and it's working correctly for you. So that's number 1. Number 2, we have now special pricing for teams. A lot of companies, have multiple users, multiple logins, render systems, this system, someone working from home. It gets very complicated if you start doing it the way how we normally do it. Hey, buy one license, buy one more. No, we're going to deal with all of these clients differently now. We decided we have like a bulk packages where you just company license, all the, software from us, and you don't have to then struggle with what license you opened, you didn't, and so on. So we're just making it that transition so much better and easier for you. Okay, so basically these are like a changes that we're just, we're streamlining a little bit this whole process and just making it much easier to do it. Yes, the license is always going to be same for Mac and PC. We won't change the licensing system. This is Osvaldo asked. When we actually release Windows, it will be same licensing system and you're going to be able to use the same license on both. That's absolutely correct. Is there documentation or tutorials on Adobe Colourlab Resolve round trip? Says David. Absolutely not, David. This is a brand new thing. You just saw it here for the first time, but we are going to release that and we're going to make videos, and publish them. And so we are, literally within a week or so, you're going to start seeing all these new details. Prashak said, we need 3 licenses in one subscription. Prashak, this is possible. So you need to then go through the enterprise, sales, because this is the way when we manually basically construct licenses for you. So, we'll contact help at Colourlab.ai for the moment. And then Marcello is going to direct you to whoever is going to deal with that. Ian is asking a question. Is this death of the colorist? Ian, no, it's a renaissance of the colorist. It's actually the renaissance. And Ian, I have to tell you one thing as well. A few weeks ago, I was judging the finals of the HPA Best Colorist Award. I believe I can say that. I'm not going to tell you what I was judging, but I was one of the judges. And normally you get you see, certain amount of productions, and there is always one that is so, outstanding, and it grabs you and you go like, my God, this is the winner. And usually that's the one that wins. There is always one that's really, really special. This year, I believe there was at least 7 that were the best. I cannot believe the amount of quality that is out there. The amount of beautiful, most gorgeous looking TV shows. It's unbelievable. It's unbelievable. Basically the Hollywood productions are firing on all cylinders, and studios and all the streaming giants and everybody, they all understand the importance of image for the success of their show. Everybody now understands, everybody high up who needs to understand as well. They understand that unless they're gonna give that show an incredible look, there is absolutely no chance for its survival because the competition is too high. So they are really, really paying attention to it, and they're hiring the better and better talent to do it. They're paying more attention. So it's not just a, production. It's not just the costumes. It's not just a, art direction. It's not that. It's actually the color grading is taking more important role in the whole production chain. What that means, Ian, is that you, as a colorist, you're becoming more important for them because you're that glue that brings all of that effort together and makes something absolutely fabulous happen at the end. So Ian, actually in opposite, what we are seeing is that the colorists are just getting better and better and better, because if you think about it, if you were to be on a job and you have a certain amount of time and you start your sequence with this that Colourlab Ai has delivered to you, which is an amazing looking image in comparison to completely ungraded, think about how much time and effort you can now put in making the show look absolutely outstanding. Think about the possibilities you can now do with our color visualization, that you can start doing very complicated looks already on set, already with dailies, and not lose any of that until the final grade. Think about how much better this is going to be for everybody, that everybody in production is going to be able to see an amazing looking image throughout the process. Think about all these advantages. So Ian, don't predict any death. We are actually getting better and better. The technology is just making us better, and the better we get, the more important we are in a whole chain. I love it. I start seeing more and more that the colorists get the single card credit. Like, for example, on that Bowie documentary, Tyler Roth got a single card credit. He wasn't just a guy hidden somewhere at the bottom. Like, after, carpenters, electricians, and dog handlers, there is a colorist. No, he got a single card, and so he should, right? Because he made it, look absolutely amazing. And you see, this is really what's happening. So please, let's not see just the way that we can work more automated and faster as death of it. No, it's actually amazing. And the fact that the more people can get into it, it just means that there's going to be more talent becoming available for the industry. So it's complete opposite. Yes, Ian, thank you. All right, Final Cut Pro round trip is Premiere Pro. Yes, Ricky, you can actually do this with Final Cut as well. But there are some caveats with Final Cut, which sometimes we have found that they're a little transitions and issues and stuff like that. But I am going to post an update for Final Cut users as well, so you guys are going to be able to do it. So I hope you have enjoyed this little presentation. I'm so happy to see you all here. And I can't wait to see what amazing stuff you're going to create with it. And I hope to see you all next week at the Colourlab Ai Masterclass. It's going to be an absolutely amazing experience to finally teach Masterclass on this software. I can't wait. Thank you all. Have a lovely day. And I'm looking forward to see you next week, as I said. Thank you again. Cheers. Bye-bye.